A man sentenced today after pleading guilty to child porn charges and soliciting a child for sex. What he did that got him caught. Plus, families evacuated and over 100 acres destroyed by a grass fire. What started it all and how it spread so fast. Plus, the Bells Panthers have another shot at the team that ended their season early last year. What they're bringing to the table this time around. News 12 at 6 starts right now.
Live from 12 Studios, this is News 12 at 6.
Good evening and welcome to News 12 at 6. I'm Jen Phillips. A Denison man was sentenced to 30 years in prison today after pleading guilty to child pornography charges and soliciting a child for sex. News 12's Emily Tabar is in the studio with more details on this case. Emily, how was he caught?
Jen, in June, a concerned citizen was approached by 38-year-old Raymond Folterman after asking about babysitting opportunities. His question raising alarms to the citizen, so they asked further why he was interested in babysitting. Folterman's response prompted a call to police.
So they responded back to Mr. Folterman wanting to know why he was wanting to babysit children, and he sent that citizen some graphic images of child pornography.
Grayson County District Attorney Brett Smith says that they know of, Folterman never physically abused any children himself, but child pornography is not a victimless crime.
Every time the image of that child gets viewed or accessed, that child's abused again.
Once tipped off, Denison police contacted the Sheriff's Office Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force.
Basically set up a situation where Mr. Folterman thought he was going to meet some young children to engage in sexual activities with those children. When he came to the meeting place, of course, he was met by undercover law enforcement officers.
Folterman admitted to wanting to participate in sexual acts with children and to distributing child pornography. He accepted a plea deal and pled guilty in exchange for 30 years in prison and lifetime registry as a sex offender. Smith says parole is typically an option after serving a quarter of the sentence. In Folterman's case, after 7.5 years. But that's all up to the parole board. If it wasn't for the concerned citizens' tip to police, Folterman may not have been caught, and the outcome could have been worse.
See something, say something. So, you know, if you have suspicions, we obviously don't want citizens to overreact, but follow your gut, and if you see something that's not right, report it to law enforcement.
To be observant, something the community can take away from this case.
This is the intersection of evil and innocence. When someone tries to come out of the dark corners and exploit an innocent child, we see it all too often.
Smith said they see child exploitation cases in Grayson County surprisingly all too often, and that growing access of social media and the internet holds some blame. Live in the studio, Emily Tabar, News 12.
Thank you, Emily. A grass fire broke out around noon today in Lone Grove, forcing several families to evacuate their homes. News 12's Caroline Cluis is live where it happened. Caroline, how much of that area has been burned?
Hey Jen, I'm here on Texaco Road near Highway 70, and the grass beneath my feet is nothing but ashes. I picked up a little bit so you can see. I mean, that's literally just blowing away in the wind. This whole field, it's dark now, but trust me, when it was bright, all it was charred grass for the eye to see from wherever you could see. The Lone Grove Fire Chief tells me that it started when sparks flew off of a semi that was driving on Highway 70. With the dry grass and the gusty winds, that turned into a grass fire. Fire Chief Steve Phillips estimates that 100 acres have been burned. Families on this stretch of the highway were asked to evacuate. I spoke to Greg Keith, who was one of them. Keith told me he saw and smelled the fire before he heard what happened.
It's horrible. It was all kinds of smoke. I mean, it was really thick smoke right through here. All that timber over, to the north or south of us here was on fire, and it stopped about right there at the tree line. And the timber, it's pretty thick timber and undergrowth. Was, it's pretty bad over there, so they cleaned it up actually.
Who used their tractors to dig fire lines so that the fire would not reach their houses in order to keep it a little more under control. One couple even told me that they had just 5 minutes to evacuate. They loaded up their dogs, important paperwork and everything else that they felt they needed. Phelps asked that you wait to carry out any controlled burns right now because of how dry everything is and because of the wind that's blowing. It's too dry and too windy, but he did say that no structures burnt down and no one was hurt. Live in Lone Grove, Caroline Cluess, News 12.
All right, thank you, Caroline. Definitely dark out there. Well, a Texas man is charged with manslaughter in Marshall County. Court documents say 53-year-old Timbo Miller of Gordonville was under the influence and on a suspended license when he crashed into an SUV driven by Samantha Carnes. She died of her injuries. If he's convicted, Miller faces 20 years to life in prison. Whitesboro police arrested a woman for pulling a gun on a family member during an argument. Nadia Sharber was arrested Wednesday. Whitesboro police say she got into a fight with her sister, but then she pulled a gun on her. She's been charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and 1 count of endangering a child. She's in the Grayson County Jail being held on a $35,000 bond. And the Bryan County Sheriff's Office is investigating after a dispensary in Cartwright was burglarized on Tuesday. It happened at the Sweetleaf dispensary around 6 that night. Employees were working when they say 2 men wearing white hoodies and face coverings came in the front door and stole about an ounce of marijuana buds from sample jars, edible gummies, and chocolate bars before running out of the store with hundreds of dollars in product. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Bryan County Sheriff's Office. 2 people are in the hospital after a crash just outside of Ada yesterday morning. It happened just before noon. Officers say a truck driven by Alvin Arms was stopping for a work zone on State Highway 3 West when he and his passenger Ruth Arms were hit from behind by a truck pulling a trailer that was driven by Dean Henry. You see this video here of when first responders got to the scene. Both the Arms were flown to OU Medical Center. Alvin in serious condition, Ruth in critical. The driver of the second truck and his passenger were not injured. Troopers say nobody involved in that crash was wearing a seatbelt, and they say inattention is to blame. Well, let's get a check of the weather now. Our wind vacation was brief and honestly really cold, so I don't know if anyone missed the wind, but strong gusts are returning for the weekend. Chief Meteorologist Steve LaNore has a first look at how that Saturday is shaping up. Is it just as cold, Steve?
No, it won't be as cold tonight thanks to the breeze, Jen, so it's kind of a trade-off there. Now you can see on our satellite imagery here some high-level cloud cover coming in. This helped to make a remarkable sunset. I'll show you a bit later in the show. Really an eye pleaser. But for this evening, we're generally going to clear to partly cloudy skies. Those high clouds really won't be much of an issue. You can see a big, beautiful, nearly full moon tonight. Now the wind's blowing along about 20 miles per hour from the south and southeast. So temperatures tonight are generally in the 50s. This time last night they were already in the 40s. So we're about 10 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. And that should kind of be the deal overnight. Morning lows will be above freezing. It will be chilly, 40-ish. Okay, with a mostly clear sky. Tomorrow the sun's out, we're pushing 70, but wouldn't you know it, it's going to be very windy again tomorrow. At least though it's a southerly wind, so again that's making temperatures warmer than average. How long will that last? Well, another cold front's on the way. We'll track that and talk about Thanksgiving being pretty up in the air when I come back.
Up in the air, I don't like the sound of that, but I do like the sound of this. High school football playoffs continue tonight, and it features a rematch from last year's second round as the Bells Panthers once again meet up with the Eastland Mavericks. Sports 12's Hunter Smith is live where it's all going down with more on tonight's matchup. Hunter.
Well, Jen, the Bells Panthers are going to be looking to get a little bit of payback tonight as they take on the Eastland Mavericks, the team that knocked them out of the second round of the playoffs last year. Now, Bells, they're coming off a big win over Blooming Grove last week where head coach Dale West said he thought his team did a good job starting off fast, something that they've struggled with in the past last year. Taking a look at this Eastland team, they run a fast-paced and up-tempo offense, so for the Panthers to keep them off the field by putting together long, sustaining drives. Now Coach West also wants to see his team do a better job of finishing those drives compared to last year's matchup, and when his defense is on the field, they'll need to play fundamentally sound to put the Panthers in the best position to win. Now this game kicks off at 7, and I will have more on tonight's matchup later on in sports. Reporting from Yellow Jacket Stadium, Hunter Smith, Sports 12.
Thank you, Hunter. Some drivers in Texoma are getting a new place they can fill up, but just not with gas. The network expanding into the region. And let's take a live look through the lens of our Holiday Inn Ardmore Tower cam. Fabulous sunset. You see the remnants of those colors in the sky just there. It's just ending for us, but Steve has a rewind on that just ahead, as well as a look at a big red L. That doesn't mean loss, at least. That may affect our Thanksgiving. Tesla's Supercharger network is expanding into Texoma. The Denison Development Alliance says the first station will be opening up at the intersection of Highway 75 and 91, and it's actually going to be turned on next week. The 8 charging stations can be found in the upcoming Victron Energy Travel Center, which will be including, as well as these Tesla stations, Texas Best Smokehouse, Fuzzy's Taco Shop, and Einstein Brothers Bagels. It's all expected to open early next year. We don't have to tell you this, but we'll say it anyway. It's a huge night of playoff football, round 2 of the postseason, and we are live at the big games.
Well, the winds are on the field tonight. We've got a south wind and a north wind tussling it out for the weekend. I'll explain when I come back.
From the Weather Authority, here's Steve LaNore.
Okay, as promised, here's that sunset. It is really beautiful out there. A great start to the weekend before Thanksgiving. Hey, check it out. This is from our Holiday Inn Ardmore Tower cam and sponsored by Hunter Supertex. A few scattered clouds coming in, splashing out the color in a very nice fashion. And overnight we'll have generally a mostly clear to partly cloudy sky. So if you want to see the nearly full moon out there, could be a ring around that at some point during the overnight hours thanks to those high-level clouds. But one thing is for sure, we'll have a lot of sun tomorrow, and we'll have also a lot of wind, I am not happy to report. Here's your fishing game forecast for Saturday, and you can see the best peak there is going to be in the mid-afternoon. Right now, we have a breezy and cool evening. You're going to a ball game, get a bite to eat, something like that. You'll want a light jacket, but it's not super cold. Temperatures are running in the 50s with winds running about 20 miles per hour. Here are some of the wind gust forecast overnight. It won't be much worse than it is now. We'll kind of keep a steady breeze out of the south, 15 to 20 miles per hour, as you can see here into Saturday morning. Now, tomorrow during the day, the wind does pick up more like 20 to 30 miles per hour. We've been awfully used to that lately, unfortunately. Now, here's the change. On Sunday, we'll go to a north wind as a cold front comes through. Here's the south wind ahead of the front, north wind behind it. That's happening sometime Sunday morning. And equally gusty winds out of the north, about 20 to 30 on Sunday. No rain with the front, and really not that much cooler. It'll drop at about 8 or 10 degrees between tomorrow and what we have on Sunday behind it. So really a pretty mild front for this time of the year. Current temperatures, you can see everybody kind of holding on to the 50s except for Paris, where you're 49 degrees along with Greenville. So this is definitely warmer than it was this time last night, thanks to that southerly wind, kind of keeping the air stirred up, bringing back in some milder air from the south. Water vapor and radar imagery, you can see the high-level cloud cover kind of spilling into Texoma skies. That is what gave us that pretty sunset. The big picture will be a flat jet stream flow for the next several days. When you get that, the fronts that do come in here just don't have a lot of cold air with them. So, for instance, behind this Sunday front, still in the 60s, that'll zip on through pretty quickly. Big problem is going to be kind of a potential holiday spoiler as low pressure drops in from the west, and we talked about this last night. 3 different computer models show this feature coming in, so that's a fairly high chance something will happen that might bring us some rain. So Turkey Day could be a turkey. Of course, we're talking outside, not inside, okay? There's that to go with, too. So Precip Forecast is showing for Thanksgiving the day after. Amounts would not be excessive the way it looks right now, but some spots could get up to a ½ inch of rain. We'll have to see how this works out. Again, not set in stone. These things can move a lot in 5 or 6 days, but the heads up, there's going to be a significant chance of rain by next Wednesday night and Thanksgiving Day. For tonight, though, no chance of rain. Beautiful, nearly full moon. Breezy, not as cold as it was last night. Still in the coat zone, though, 43 degrees. There's our turkey running hard, trying to outrun probably the inevitable fate there with that deal. And temperatures from 70 tomorrow, back to 70 on Thanksgiving Eve, but probably in the cool 50s, but the oven, I think, will be hotter than that. in the kitchen. What do you think?
Unless he's one of those peanut butter and jelly. Did you see those are the names of the turkeys that are pardoned this year?
Yeah, that's kind of cute.
Yeah, peanut butter and jelly. So that's just, we'll just pretend that that's one of those, and he'll meet the same lovely fate on a farm, and he's just running toward his new life there.
Of course, there's always a chance that peanut butter and jelly could be toast.
Oh, no. Just really punny over here right now. But lots of sports going on over there, right, David?
Yeah, that's right. Coming up next in sports, tons of big second-round playoff games going on tonight. We're live at a couple of those, including Plainview playing on their home field, and the Bells Panthers trying to take down the team that ended their season last year. We'll talk about it next.
Now, your award-winning local sports coverage. Here's David Reed.
Head into round 2 of the high school football playoffs. Some great games out there tonight, starting with the Bells Panthers, who are looking for a little payback tonight against Eastland. Hunter Smith is live in Boyd with Bells.
Thanks, David. I'm here with the Panthers head coach Dale West. Coach, second round of the playoffs, taking on Eastland, the same team that knocked you guys out last year. Tell me, just has that game from last year given you guys a little bit of extra motivation going into tonight?
Oh, no doubt. Playoff rematches are always fun. We're just excited to be here and excited to have another great year. And our kids are ready to play, and I think we're going to get the best of us tonight.
All right, now Eastland, they have a pretty high tempo, fast-paced offense. What do you guys got to do to either get them off the field or keep them off the field?
Yeah, we got to use our ball control offense to hold the ball and have some long drives and score on them at the end. We did a good job last year of gaining yards. We just didn't finish. So we have emphasized finishing. And like I said, we're happy to be here and glad we get to come out here. And let me shout out to our community. Our community is one of the best in Texas high school football. So really proud to be here with all of them.
All right, Coach, good luck tonight. Thank you so much. All right, Panthers and Eastland, they kick off at 7 o'clock, and we'll have the highlights later tonight on the Blitz. Reporting from Yellow Jacket Stadium, Hunter Smith, Sports 12.
All right, should be quite a rematch out there for sure. The Plainview Indians won their opening round game with relative ease. Tonight, things get a little tougher with Verdigris coming to town, making that long bus ride in. Stan Smith has more on this game tonight.
We have a big-time playoff matchup here tonight. The Verdigris Cardinals come into Plainview Stadium to take on the Indians. I'm joined now by Plainview head coach Joe Price. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. It's always special to be in the second round of the playoffs. What are the emotions of your team right now?
Yeah, our emotions are high right now. We're just excited about the opportunity. We think we've got a good opponent here tonight, and we're ready to go mix it up.
And what do you guys need to do to make sure you stay focused on the task at hand and not looking too far ahead?
Yeah, I think, you just worry about what's going on this week. Worry about the team, study them, prepare for them. Make sure tonight when we come out and play, we take care of the football and go try to be the most physical team on the football field.
And Verdigris, they've got some size. You guys have been playing physical and fast all year long. How are you guys going to use that to your advantage tonight?
Yeah, I think anytime you can go out and be the more physical football team, I think it gives your team the best chance to win.
For sure, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck tonight. This game's going to kick off at 7:30, and we'll have all the highlights tonight at 10. From Plainview Stadium, Stan Smith, Sports 12.
All right, thank you, fellas. We've got some other key games to keep an eye on tonight. Whitesboro travels out to Childress. Van Alstyne goes to Abilene. Ringling playing on their home field tonight. Sulphur on the road. Leonard faces Holiday this evening, and Salina plays Perryton. We'll talk about all those games, highlights of most of them tonight on the Friday Night Blitz. The Howell Bulldogs are looking for a new head football coach. Bill Jelling resigns after leading the Bulldogs the past 4 seasons. Jelling took over for Zach Hudson back in 2018, and now the search is on for a new coach there in Howell. We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back to News 12 at 6. Moving into the weekend before Thanksgiving, a lot of folks excited about that. And the weather not too bad, really. Now tonight, wouldn't you know, the winds are fairly gusty, not terrible, but definitely in the jacket zone tonight with a chilly little bit of air coming through. So a sweater or a jacket should do you. Don't think you need 3 of them, but there you have that. Now tomorrow, we have a stronger wind out of the south, about 20 to 30 miles per hour, but up to about 70 degrees. Again, not too shabby for late November. Cold front comes through very clearly. You can see the change in the wind there on Sunday, but it'll be equally gusty. No rain with our Sunday front. And then temperatures you can see next week kind of bobbling around, drop a little bit, go up a little bit. Overall, though, these are above normal temperatures through Thanksgiving Eve. on Thanksgiving Day, based on the expectation that we'll have a rainy day. 56, that'll be the day to hug someone you love because it's going to be a little chilly.